try and make it look like I'm less bold. Oh, okay. Hello, welcome to my channel. So, I did this hairstyle. It's pretty shocking, but there should be a video up next week if you want to see it for some godforsaken reason. Anyway, on to a different topic. Today, a more serious topic. So we're on about dyslexia and the dyslexia test that I went to. So I thought that this could be helpful if you're going for a dyslexia or dyspraxia test. So I went for a dyslexia test on Thursday just gone, and before I went I googled everything that I thought, you know, helpful. Like, I wanted to know what was going to happen. I didn't want to go in having no clue and then just be like the whole time I was there. So this is what you can expect from a dyslexia test. I've just realised I've got tips here which are my revision notes, and that's not what I'm fucking talking about. Ugh. Meh. Okay. Anyway, carry on. So, dyslexia test. So when you first get there, they ask you just some like general questions, your name, age, have you ever had any previous dyslexia or dyspraxia tests, if you're on any medication, you know, just general tests to see like where you are in life, really. Yes, and then after that, I believe we started with a spelling test, I want to say, and it went downhill from my spelling test. I'm not gonna lie, I cried at my spelling test. So you're just given words that I'd say the general 23-year-old, so I'm 23 and 5 months, and the general person at that age should know all the words. Yeah, I did not know all the words, I'm not gonna lie. You're like, obviously if you're dyslexic, the likelihood is you won't know most of the words. We also looked at the yellow, I don't know what they're called. They like to put on a piece of paper so that if you find that your writing jiggles about, like words jiggle about, or if they become blurry, or they jiggle about, you should hopefully stop there. That's something that I've never been told before. I've always heard that, like, you know, if the letters jiggle about, that's never something I've had. But I was unaware there is blurry as well. If the writing becomes blurry, that's called eye strain, which isn't great for your eyes. Yeah, so there's that. So you have a spelling test. At the end of my spelling test, she said, I can pretty much see that you're just guessing how to spell these words now, like you clearly don't know how to actually spell them. So we ended up giving up. Did we give up, or did we go all the way to the bottom? Brie was like, I've noticed at this point that you're just guessing, and then we just like went on guessing until the end. Pretty much. What else? So there is a spelling test. You have to read. Actually, this one was before it. So you have to read like different things, and then they ask you questions about the text that you've read. And I'm not sure how they actually relate this to dyslexia. Like, I can understand the reading because you might not be able to read as well, but I'm not sure why they ask you to recall it, like what happened. I think it's because dyslexic people don't actually process the information. You just read it. You just say the words and that's it. Yeah, and then we on about like in school how I would. So like in class, you are made to read, and the thing that I would do is I'd count, like when they got close to me, I'd count how many people they were in front of me, and then I'd count down like 5 sentences if the person was 5 in front, and then I'd just read my sentence over and over again until it came up to me, so that I would know it word perfect. Because otherwise, if I was just to wait until it was the person next to me and then I had to read, I'd stutter and I wouldn't be able to read, and it was horrible and embarrassing, and people would laugh at me. So yes. Other things, you have to do a puzzle, like it's like a puzzle. They give you like these little puzzle pieces and you've got to try and figure out how they go. My examiner, psychologist, was actually really friendly. I think it would have been way worse if he wasn't nice, but he was actually very, very nice. And like I said, I got really upset with doing the spelling test, so when it came to the other sections that I was actually pretty good at, or things that he thought were interesting, he would let me know. So for instance, he said, in one of the texts, it said something like Mr. Hughes was staying at his Hampstead penthouse, and I said apartment, and he said like, your brain, as you're reading, has figured out what the sentence means and has decided to put the word apartment in there. Obviously, because you was reading out loud, you didn't have any time to process it. Like, he'd covered the page up and then showed me it. I didn't have any time to process what was actually being on that page, so I couldn't have read through it and then just forgot what word was there and said apartment, because I didn't know until I'd seen it. Yes, so he was saying like, that's something that most people can't do. Most people would have to read all the way through a sentence and then try to put other words in there. You couldn't just instantly just put a different word in there. And I know that doesn't, like, that's not much help in most day-to-day life, but when you feel like shit about reading and this guy is telling you that you might have some bad qualities but you also have some good qualities, it's nice to hear. Yes. So what else did we do? Oh, I got this a piece of paper, and they ask you like some questions that some of them I knew were like related to dyslexia, and there's some things that I didn't know. So they ask you like, do you get your left and right confused? Do you get letters and numbers confused? What you do? There was one, and I didn't. I was really dyspraxia. So there was some dyspraxia questions, and I think these were on the line of dyspraxia, and they said things like, do you find it difficult to park your car? What you do? Do you find it difficult? Oh, did you find it difficult to pass your test, your driving test? If you're unaware, I sat my theory 3 times and my actual driving part 3 times before passing. Like, I passed on the 3rd time each go. I cannot park for shit either. James literally laughs at me as I'm trying to park. And another one was, do you find it difficult like with new things, like no, I don't know how to explain it. This is the problem with me. Okay, we'll just skip it, we'll talk about it. If you go in like there's nothing to be scared about. Yeah, some things are difficult, and it is frustrating sitting in a room with someone and basically them confronting all the things you hate about yourself. Okay, maybe not all the things I hate, but the majority of things that like I've hated growing up, and I've like tried my hardest to like not have to do, because it causes me discomfort, and it's just like the slightest things like that will make me like tear up. So after we sat in a room with this guy for, it was about 4.5 hours. They meant to take between 3.5. They say between 3 and 3.5 for a child, and anywhere between 3 and 6.5 hours for an adult. So mine took about 4 hours, I believe. Yes. What else did they do? Oh, there was one, and basically you have shapes, and then there's like shapes on the bottom, and they're like lettered. There's like letters next to them, and then there's a picture, and you've got to say from the picture at the top which of the letters below are in the picture. And that was really interesting, because at first it starts off really easy, obviously, but then it gets really hard. And I want to know how that works. I don't understand how that has anything to do with dyslexia either. But yeah, so it was weird, to say the least. No, it was really fun though. Not fun, like, oh, I don't know how to explain it, typically. If you think you have dyslexia or dyspraxia, go see them. Although they've said that although it tests for like things like dyslexia and dyspraxia, it cannot test for things like ADHD, which is commonly associated with dyslexia. Yeah, I can't test for those things because one and the other. They're like completely different scientists that need to test you for it. One is a doctor and one is a psychologist, I believe. And he also helped me see, so I mentioned to him, he said, like, is there any tutors that has said to you, like, you understand what you're talking about, you just can't put it into words? And it made me realise that the first real teacher I had that realised that was my teacher at college, and she was a psychology teacher, and that would make sense because she would have known about dyslexia more than any of my other teachers. Yes, that's all really. I can't really think of anything else. I had a whole thing and I got the wrong notes. That's the end of the video. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, thumbs up, you know the dealio.